All right, welcome back into Broad Street Broadcast. This is episode 7. I'm your host, Travis Ballinghoff. I'm here with my other host, Kevin Beatty. Kevin, how are we doing on this fine Tuesday evening?
I'm not gonna lie, Travis. I could be better. It should be a pretty good night. The Flyers are done. No more headache. But the Panthers just lost, and it was quite annoying. Um, I will say they controlled play for the whole night. But they lost 4-2 against the Caps.
The old captain got on the board, though.
He did. It was a nice little play. He had a good game. But I will say he did the the goal that they let
Oshie's
up to,
goal.
to Oshi's goal that was a little. He's got to stop dumping it in. He's too ingrained in the Philly culture. He's like,
Yep.
dump and chase.
hmm
That's like his knee jerk reaction now. But he's too talented for that. The team's too talented for that. He's got to carry that in.
Completely agree. Well, we had a pretty big week in Flyers news, despite being eliminated. It is pretty wild. We'll start off with interim head coach Mike Yeo being fired. Not much of a surprise there, right?
No, if anybody expected Yo to be the head coach for next season, then you need to be checked because that was just not going to happen. Even if you just look at the numbers, they just didn't perform. If you watch the game, they didn't perform. There was literally no indicator that said like, oh yeah, Yo is going to be back as head coach next year.
I found it interesting both Kevin Weeks reported it at like midnight last night, kind of
Yeah.
out of the blue. But Chuck Fletcher in his press conference today, and we'll get into that later, he said they may keep him in the organization, which I think was also kind of speculated throughout the year because
Yeah.
of the relationship he has with the players. We'll see if the new coach wants him on the coaching staff. Maybe Yo can't find a job anywhere else and he goes into scouting or development, something like that.
I'm not opposed to him staying in the organization. I don't necessarily know if I want him. I don't necessarily know if I want him in a coaching role again. Um, just like, but more than I think Chuck needs to get out of this. He's very loyal to the people he was with in Minnesota.
Big time.
I think he needs to branch out from that. I defend Chuck Fletcher a lot, but like that's something that I definitely think needs to go. Like I don't care about your days in Minnesota. You didn't win anything there, so you need to start fresh. Start fresh in Philly, and maybe we can turn some things around. But stop. Enough with Minnesota, please.
Yeah, I completely agree. Maybe I'll be okay with him as an assistant, depending on what the rest of the staff is and who's available out there. But that'll come with time until I have like a firm decision on what I'd like to see there.
Yeah, the only reason I would kind of be okay with it is because I know the team really likes him. Like, by the team, I mean the players. I know, and with I guess the mistrust I'll say that the team has with the organization right now. With obviously they weren't too happy with the Keith Yandel situation. Um, with them keeping AV around for so long, like I think that's a way to win loyalty back to the players, but I don't know if it's necessarily best for the organization.
Yeah, mistrust is a good way to put it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's like. It's well, not to mention that like the medical staff too. We've been talking about it every week. No real change has been made there. Chuck said today that they're going to reevaluate their team, their medical staff, their doctors, and everything. But we'll see. That you got to win the players back at this point, and I think bringing Yo back might do that. But at the same time, he was an assistant here when they were good, like 3 years ago. But other than that, he really hasn't brought anything to the team. So I'm not going to be heartbroken if he's gone, but I'm not going to be surprised if he's back in some kind of capacity.
Yeah, he was. I guess a rebuttal bringing him back is he was the defense coach and the penalty kill coach, and the first year here it was very good, and then
Mm-hmm.
the last two pretty bad.
Well, I'll give. I think the defense was all right last season. I think Hart was a big issue last season, so I think the defensive numbers kind of. Like I said, Hart was a big factor last season, so I think the defense was better than most people give it credit for, but it still wasn't where it needed to be.
Yeah, I don't completely agree with that. I think the defense. I actually think it was kind of like chicken before the egg. Like I think Hart started the season well, and then the defense was bad, and Hart was having to overcompensate, and then he's getting beat back door every play, and then that kind of got in his head, and then the
You know
wheels
what?
fell off of him, and then he struggled, and then that's how
It's
I
not
view it.
it's not an unreasonable view. I viewed the defenseman last season as a little bit better than I guess most people did. Um, I Sanheim I thought had a pretty good year last season. I thought Provorov was pretty good last season.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I better than this season, I would say.
I didn't like either of their seasons last year.
Sanheim I liked last. Sanheim I'm fairly big on just in general.
Huh.
But yeah. I
So
also could have just drank so much that I just completely blacked out. I like just completely blocked everything out from last season. That's a very real
that is
possibility.
possible. That is
That is a
possible.
very real possibility.
I mean, he did win most improved player for a second time just because of how bad he was last season.
That's true. That is true.
So we'll get into this Chuck Fletcher press conference today. What were your overall thoughts?
You know what? I don't usually tend to put a lot into like the press conferences and everything because what you say is one thing, what you do behind what you do when you're actually trying to do the job is another thing. I've said before, I haven't hated the moves that he's made so far. He did say he wants to have its off season similar to 2019 when they really did kind of turn the team around. But like I said, you got to prove it to me first. I got to see. I still think that they're pretty far away, especially watching the Panthers play tonight. Even Washington play tonight. Like Flyers can't compete with either team.
No, they're so much faster than us, and even both foot speed and just getting the puck out of the defensive zone, getting it
for
up
sure.
ice.
It's night and day. And then you watch the Flyers and you're like, wow, we can't even get out of the neutral zone, and you guys are like bringing it in with skill, having an aggressive forecheck, and we can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, there's not really much to take away. Like I said, he said all the right things, but at this point, he's been a general manager for a long time, so he kind of knows how to play. He knows how to prepare. I'll say. What he actually ends up doing is,
I'm in the same boat as you are. I take all these press conferences with a grain of salt. He's not going to go in the media and bash his own players.
Exactly.
You're not going to, devalue your own assets.
Exactly.
He talked pretty high on TK, Provi, Sanheim, kind of like everyone's done last couple weeks.
I agreed with you. I feel like he kind of downplayed Provi a little bit. I did see he's like, oh, he does a lot for us. We need to get him a better partner. Right. I'm kind of like you. So I do remember him actually like singling out like Sanheim, TK, and somebody else. I forget. But I did notice that he originally like left Provi out of that originally.
Right.
So I was like, I maybe like overthinking it a little bit, but I was like, you know what? Like maybe he sees it too.
Well, he also mentioned we talked about it a couple episodes ago now. All these Provorov rumors. Someone asked him about that, and he was like, "Oh no, he's a great leader for us, and
yeah,
they love him in the locker room." That's kind of where I was going with that. Like,
yeah,
if you come out and you're like, the guys didn't get
like,
along with Provorov this year, then you're devaluing your asset. That's
for
not
sure. And like initially is what I should say. He wasn't really mentioning him, but then when somebody brings him up, obviously he's got to pump his tires a little bit. But I'm not expecting anything. Honestly, I expect him gone by this season. By next season, and we can get we'll absolutely get into it later. Just some of the things that he said, and just all the rumors in general about him this season don't bode well for a Provorov return. I think it's not looking good. I'll say for number 9 in Philly.
Another thing, he pretty much doubled down on this aggressive retool. He said they're going to add young talent and try to compete for next season. So don't expect Chuck Fletcher to blow it up.
Yeah, no, and honestly, and like you said, it's kind of what we've been expecting for a long time. I totally 100% disagree. I think it's time you've been trying this aggressive retool for over a decade now, and it just hasn't worked.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the on the fly rebuild doesn't like you need top end talent for this to work. You need a couple of top 5 picks. You got one this season, almost in the bag. You got to hit on it, but you can't just rely on that one player. Like, you look at Nolan Patrick, that was your top 5 talent that you got that one time, and he's like not even. I don't even think he was playing by the end of the season. And
For Vegas,
yeah,
he had his 3rd injury of the year. They didn't really specify on him much, but he was injured 3 different occasions this year.
Okay, I saw the 2. I thought he was scratched for a while. But I did see that he was injured the couple times. But regardless, he wasn't exactly blowing the doors off in Vegas anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you know what I mean? Like that was your top line talent, and you missed. And I'm not going to fault them for that. I don't think that they wanted Cale Makar like everybody says. I think that was just them kind of trying to win favor back with the fans, and instead it made them angrier.
That was Bobby Clark trying to protect his buddy.
Exactly. Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like I just don't have faith. I need you need more than one guy, because only one guy you're have a higher chance of that guy missing. You have a higher chance of not having a top end player in that time. And if you miss on all 3, then that's just bad luck. But like I'd say you need at least 3.
Right. No, I agree with that. I think that's the best way to build a core is bottoming out and trying to get all these as many lottery tickets as you can, because they're not all going to fail.
No. But you know what I mean? And there's only so many times we're seeing that right now. There's only so many times you guys can pick middle of the pack and not really get anything out of it. Like Provorov and Patrick were the only 2 guys we got in the top 10 in like the last 10 years, I think. And
yeah, I think that's right.
Because when did Coots get drafted? That was.
Oh, you're right. That was Columbus's pick, but that was 7th overall.
Okay,
that
yeah.
was 2011.
Okay, yeah. So all right. So counting Coots, then that's 3, but that also wasn't your pick. You traded your guys away to get that guy. Which fine, if that's how you want to play it, that's how you want to play it. But in that case, you're most likely going to have to trade away some big assets, which would kind of insinuate that you're going to do a rebuild, and you don't want to do that. So
you don't want to half-ass it like Ron Hextall did. That's how you end up in this position.
Doing an on-the-fly rebuild doesn't work. Doing an aggressive retool doesn't work. You're still going to try it? Fine. Like, you're not paying me the money, so I can't do anything about it. So,
well, talking about this draft pick, so the Flyer season ended I guess a week ago now. They have the 4th best odds for the lottery at 9.5% to get the 1st overall pick.
I was so angry. We went. So Seattle was winning. What was it? 3-1 going into the 3rd period, and I was like, "Oh, dude, we got this in the bag. We're gonna hop over Vegas for the 3rd." Oh my god, I was so excited. And then, yeah. And then Dave Haxtell screwed us over again.
Yep.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, this man is I never thought I was going to get screwed over by another Dave Haxtell 3rd period blown lead, but I guess I was wrong. Those days are still upon us.
He loves parking the bus, man.
He does love parking the bus.
He hasn't been able to get rid of that.
Nope. So, it's fun. Love to see it.
So we do have a shot at moving up 1st or 2nd. There's also a chance we fall to 7th if we get really screwed and 3 teams.
I bet you $100 we're falling to 7th. I bet you 100. I would bet everything that we're falling to 7th.
So here's a little conspiracy theory.
Okay.
I've thought these things have been rigged for a while. And I feel like it would really benefit the NHL if the Flyers are good again. That way, all the rivalries are back with, the Penguins, the Rangers, the Bruins, and the packed houses again. Because the Flyers, it's been pretty well documented how little fans are going to games now, which is hurting the league's
Yeah,
revenue. So I feel like if this is rigged, it would benefit the NHL to help us for once.
I am. Hey, I'll write Gary Bettman right now. Like, hey, big guy, like, help me out. Let's get it. Let's get a number 1 overall pick. But we're just not that lucky. I just don't think like you look. Like I understand where you're coming from with it being rigged because you look at how many like top 5 picks, top 3 picks that Rangers, Devils have had like in the last 5 or so years, and then you get like it literally never goes to the team that's like the worst in the league. It never goes. It never goes to them.
Bringing the next Gretzky back to Edmonton and bringing a superstar, like Austin Matthews to Toronto. I don't know.
I can see it. No, I definitely understand. I see where you're coming from. I hope to get, and you know what? Hey, maybe that was them rigging like, oh, Nolan Patrick's not that good. Just give him to Philly. Like maybe. So maybe, but you know what? It's fine. We're doing no, Gary. I need you to listen to me. Give me the first overall pick.
Do you still want Shane Wright?
I would love Shane Wright. I think that would go a long way for us.
I was listening to 32 Thoughts today with Friedman and Merrick.
Yeah.
And they were saying that, or was it Chicklets?
Chicklets did release today, so it might have been Chicklets.
It was Chicklets, and Grinelli was saying that Shane Wright is starting to fall, and you know what? I think it was 32 Thoughts. Shane Wright's starting to fall down into that number 2 spot.
He might be. You know what? And if he falls, I will be more than happy to take you, Shane Wright. He's got that chemistry with Zayd Wisdom.
I'm getting serious Nolan Patrick vibes from this.
Oh, Patrick, I swear to God, don't you dare wish that on me. Don't you dare wish that on me.
Patty was the consensus number 1 all year. And then, 2 months before the draft, Nico Hischier starts coming up in people's watch lists, and he goes number 1. And
I will say,
I don't know. I'm getting serious Nolan Patrick vibes.
Stop saying that. You're gonna make it happen. Please.
Knock on wood.
So I will say I do like the look of that 6'4" Slovakian winger. I looked at his name. I don't even want to try and pronounce it. Juraj Slavkovsky. Like he looks very, very good. He's 6'4", 218 pounds. He's playing in the Finnish league right now. He's got the NHL size already. He can play pretty much any forward position. It says he's a left winger primarily, shoots left. He's got the size, he's got the hands, he's got the shot. I'm if he fell to us, which I don't think is going to happen, I'd be more than happy to take him.
The name I'm hearing that's starting to go number 1 on people's lists is Logan Cooley.
So I've seen a lot of mock drafts with him. He's actually falling to the Flyers. So, I mean, and you take a grain of salt with the mock drafts. We'll see, but
I feel like an idiot because I don't remember which of the 2 podcasts it was from, but that's what I heard today is that Wright's starting to go 2 and Cooley's starting to go 1.
Hey, you know what? What are the odds that we're going to have 2 Nolan Patricks?
Right.
Travis, what are the odds? Probably very good.
9.5%.
Hey, yeah, I was going to say. So, you know what? It's at this point, the dice have been rolled. When do we find out where we pick officially? Is that's the 10th, right?
Yep.
The 10th.
That is the lottery. The draft is July 7th.
Yeah. So, you know what? It is what it is at this point. There's nothing that we can do. It would have been really nice if the Flyers could have, lost a couple more games for us. But you know what? You guys wanted to win for some reason in the lost season. But hey, you know what? Sure. I come to realize the fact that you guys are playing for jobs next year. Sure, fine, whatever.
James Van
So
Riemsdyk.
yeah, literally. You guys decided to win like 6-2 against Pittsburgh. So that's fun. So yeah, so we'll see. It is what it is at this point. There's nothing we can do. I'll say my rosary every night for the first overall pick. And then we can go from there. But until then, till next week, there's literally nothing we can do. There's
right. Going back to that whole conspiracy thing, the draft is in Montreal, and
oh
they have
my
the number one
god,
chances for the number one pick. So
it's gonna happen. It's gonna be Montreal. Shane writes he's gonna go to. Well, you know what? Maybe this Logan Cooley guy. Maybe he will go. We'll see.
Yeah, you know what? Suzuki plays a similar game to Shane Wright. So
he does.
He does. Just go with Cooley.
Maybe. Hey, you know what? Sure. I'll be more than happy to have Shane Wright fall to us. Or that other guy. I'd love that winger. 214 pounds, 6'4". Dude, I'll take that any day.
Cool. Is he a sniper? Do you know?
I haven't studied enough of him to make a
I don't know much
distinction.
about him either. Igor is his name.
I'll say Juraj is his first name. I cannot pronounce that for the life of me.
Yeah, it's a difficult one.
Yep. I'll text it to you, and you can try and pronounce.
No, I got it up. Yeah, I don't really know much about him. Not big into the drafts, but
neither am I. But I've heard a lot of like good things about him. So yeah, like I said, finish, good size, good shot. That's in the the clips that I've seen. I'll say like the research, the minimal research that I did. I do believe Charlie O'Connor is pretty high on him. So I
have good analytics.
He's very good at analytics. So yeah, you know what? I like him. It's like I said, it is what it is at this point. We'll see. Yeah.
Jumping back to this current team, the season has officially ended.
Thank God.
How about name a couple guys you think exceeded your expectations and some guys who did not?
How many am I allowed to list for people that did not? I mean, honestly, there really isn't that many that really I'll say exceed. I mean, we talked about it last week. There really isn't anybody that like improved or anything. Giroux was pretty good. I like Sanheim. Farabee was good for the first half of the year and then really kind of tapered off. Also, I'll give Lindblad. I gave him credit last week. I'll give him credit again. Like he did kind of make a pretty big comeback in terms of like rebounding from cancer and everything. So I think he did pretty well in terms of like getting back into game shape and being an impact player. I just think he had a lot of stuff that just didn't go in the net. But I thought he was playing pretty well.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Not too many guys who exceeded expectations. I'll throw Hart up there, Sanheim.
Yeah, okay. Yes, Hart I forgot, but yeah.
I like Derek Brassard, when he was healthy for a month or so.
Yeah, for the 3 days he was healthy, yeah.
He exceeded my expectations while he was here.
Yeah, that one line with him and Atkinson at the beginning of the season, like that was a real good line. They were really productive. I mean, I never really expected that to be sustained, but it was for the time it was here, it was fun. It was a good line.
Other than that, Patrick Brown showed me he could play fourth line center, which I really thought he was a career minor leaguer when we got him.
I don't want him.
Not a Patty Brown guy.
Not a Patty Brown guy. I want Tanner. I'd like to see Tanner Lazinski up next season. I would like to see him. I'd really like to see him take Patrick Brown's spot, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. He's also got to stay healthy as well. I just think there's a lot of people that we have that literally you're just wasting cap space in a roster spot at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Literally we have so many of those guys that it's literally not necessary for us to pick up anybody on waivers. Unless everybody's hurt, then yeah, go ahead, pick up somebody on waivers. But until that point, there's no need.
Yeah, when you have to take 3 guys off waivers in one season, that's pretty telling about your roster.
Exactly.
How about
So,
guys who did not meet your expectations or
oh
did
my
worse?
God, where do I start? Provorov for one, very, very disappointing. Um, I mean, I'll throw Risto on that list, but I didn't really have high expectations for him to begin with. Yandel, I was very disappointed in. I was very happy when they signed him. I was like, oh, dude, that's a steal. And he was really good. And I don't think they utilized him properly anyway, but like still he struggled a lot.
Mhm.
Um, Martin Jones, I mean, he wasn't awful, but like he wasn't great. I could literally go through the whole roster. I mean,
Well,
Coots
speaking
just,
about Jones, in that press conference, Fletcher said today they're trying to get paperwork done with Fedotov for him to come over to the States next year, and he's going to battle for the backup job.
I love that. I really do. I would like to see Samuel Urson. I think he might be a little bit young. But I'd like to see him come and like compete at least. I think he's got a whole lot of upside. Fedotov is like I think he's got world class talent, but we'll see. It just depends on who's available. I don't think you got to sign somebody. You can't rely on that because you have to at the very least get somebody to drive competition up for him.
Who, Hart?
Sorry, no, Fedotov. I'm sorry.
So you're saying sign a veteran backup goalie, third string type that'll in
Yeah,
camp?
yeah, that might be able to like in case Fedotov isn't ready, come in and fill that role because I don't trust Ustamenko to make that.
Right.
I don't trust that. And I mean, like Sandstrom was fine in the little I saw, but like I don't want him. I'll say I don't think he's backup material yet.
Okay.
Like I'd like to see him get some more time in the AHL, just to kind of build up his game a little bit. Other than that, like I just don't think you rely on. I don't think you bank on Fedotov. Is what I should say.
I think my dream scenario to be our backup next year is Quick, but that's a dream, and I don't think that
Yeah,
actually
that
happens.
I doubt it, but I could. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not going to say no to that. He's pretty solid still.
Yeah,
Not like
he's
he's
just
not what
kind of
he.
like he's seen he's been on great teams, he's been on bad teams, he's
Yeah,
had so much playoff experience, Olympic experience. Like I think he's kind of seen it all and could help Hart out a lot.
and
Also,
didn't
he's my favorite goalie of all time.
didn't
So I'm kind of biased, but
our current goalie coach wasn't he the guy that trained? I was gonna say I
he
thought he
was the
trained
Kings
Quick.
goalie coach for
Yeah.
a handful
So
of
so
years in
I
the
mean,
early
hey, you know what?
2010s.
Maybe that's possible. So, um, yeah, I said I wouldn't say no to that. I like Quick. I
If we can't go, if we weren't able to get Quick though, I think I would actually just give the shot to one of the four young guys we have in the system. I think that's a decent way to save cap and this
it,
aggressive retool and just
I'm not like I said I'm not opposed to it, but I would I want to see him earn it. I guess I should say I don't want to say like all right, yeah, it's yours. I want you to work for it, and I don't think anybody. I mean, I guess Urson, but I still do think he's kind of young. I don't think he's ready to make that jump yet. Eventually, I think he will be, and I think he might actually be better than Fedotov. But
hmm,
um, other than like I said, I don't want to bank on it. Like just be 100%. Oh yeah, no, the backup job's yours.
right. No, that makes sense. So some of the guys I think did not meet my expectations. I'm bouncing right off you, Yandel. He was one of
Yeah,
my favorite players in the league for a long time. I was
yeah.
pumped when we signed him, and it straight up did not work out. One of the worst
Nope.
defensemen in the league this year. JVR. I've always thought JVR is good. Third liner if you don't overuse him and stick him net front on the power play. But even in that role, he wasn't very good this year
Nah.
until we got eliminated.
Until then he was great. Like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Wait, no, we can't. He's the greatest player on the team. We got to drive up his trade value. He's the greatest player on the team. Any
right.
team would be lucky to have him.
He might be the captain of the Coyotes next year.
Hey man, sure. Take it. Please.
Uh, Other guys, Frost. I mean, I was really hoping for him. He off and
I
on, off and on, off and on.
Yeah, I didn't have much hope for him this season. I wanted to see him play more, and he did get to play on the big club a lot, but I wasn't expecting a whole lot.
Right, and then the big guy, Ivan Provorov. He had some
Yeah.
pretty choice words. We'll bring up the quote right now. They asked Provy about what kind of season he had. He said, "No matter what I say, you guys are going to give your own grades. It doesn't matter. You're all experts in hockey, so you're going to give me all your super experienced grades. I don't think my opinion really matters to you guys." What were your initial thoughts when you read that?
I mean, I respect the balls on him for being that confident and that kind of like rude to everybody in the room. But like, dude, you played like crap. Like, I
Yeah,
just come out and own it. Like, you can literally everybody else on the team said like, yeah, no, we didn't play good enough this season. We got to come back and hit it harder next year. But dude, like, you just really
no accountability at all.
none. And I'm like, dude, like, come on, like. Yeah, okay, sure. You guys had some bad luck with injuries and everything, but like, come on, you got to do. Like we said earlier with Chuck, like he's good with the press conferences. He knows exactly what to say. Like that is not what you say at all. If you
Nope.
want to try and make any kind of attempt to stay here, and I think we've kind of got the answer. He doesn't really want to. So, it is what it is at this point. You want to be, and like with all the rumors that came out, and then you come and follow them up with this, like you're not really helping your case or necessarily like your value around the league. If everyone's going to think like, oh, if he can't handle scrutiny, then why do we really want him?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think he said that just try to get some smoke off his back, and it did the complete opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very, very criticized all year long, and rightfully so. But
Yeah.
I'm guessing in his mind, he was just like, "Man, you guys are making me the scapegoat," and that was his way of trying to debunk it, and it
You know
only
what?
made things worse.
I get the thought process, if that's the case, and I get like if you're having a bad time, you think everybody's ragging on you, you maybe he misconstrued that thing and everyone's blaming him for the season going poorly. And it's not all his fault. Like
Right.
obviously, like when you're the guy who's supposed to be your number one or your number two doesn't play like it, then yeah, that's a big factor in your season. But at that point, like yeah, like you deserve some of the blame. Like you
Right.
can't just sit there and brush it off like, oh well, you guys obviously know more than I do, so I'm not going to give my opinion. Like literally, what the like that was just so.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what I expected from him at the locker cleanout day, but it definitely wasn't this.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been nice if he was like, "Man, I had an up and down season. It could have been better. It could have been, something
Yeah,
like that."
I would have taken that. Yeah, sure. I can see where you think you had a decent season in some aspects. And if as long as you were accountable, saying like, all right, yeah, no, I definitely need to have some things I need to work on, then all right, yeah, cool. I can forgive and forget.
Yeah. Maybe behind closed doors, he is telling Chuck, "I want out," and that's his
Maybe,
way of crying for help and
maybe.
get me out of here.
I said it early. I'll say it again. I don't think he's here next year. I think
Right.
that the comments that he made today paired with, everything that came out before, I think he's done. I think he's had it in Philly. And it's a shame because he is talented, and if he does have a good partner, he's actually pretty good, but
Hmm.
I'm not going to.
That's what sucks.
Yeah,
When he's on, we're a way better hockey team.
for sure. And that's what I mean. Like it's a shame, but if you don't want to be here, then sorry. I don't know what to tell you. You're a core of this locker room. You need to take some of the blame. And if you can't handle the scrutiny in this city, then sorry.
Right. How about his supposed to be defensive partner, Ryan Ellis, flying into town right before locker room clean out day? Sounds like he wants to be here.
You know what? Like it was very also it made me very optimistic.
Mhm.
But like we said earlier, you take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to these press conferences. He might, who knows, maybe it's just in his contract. He's got to come back and do this stuff. Who knows?
Right.
Marshawn, I'm just here so I won't get fined. Like, who knows? You never know. But it's very optimistic because we did find out that they do have a plan in place.
Not getting the surgery.
Not getting the surgery.
So I think we kind of talked about that last week. Seemed like one side wanted surgery, the other side didn't want surgery, and that's where the holdup was. They pretty much did confirm that.
And you know what? Sure. I mean, the thing is, it is a shame. Like, you had all season. He could have gotten the surgery. And then he could have rehabbed and then had a whole normal off season. But now he's got to battle from the injury and all. And it's a shame, because I do think if you thought he was going to be 100% next season, you could have made some kind of sale to Ivan Provorov. Like, hey, man, it was just a bad season. Everyone was on edge. But if not, then if Ellis isn't going to come back in 100%, and there's no guarantee that Ellis is going to, well, I mean, obviously there's never a guarantee, but it doesn't look like Ellis is going to play a full 82, then Provorov's going to catch the scrutiny again, and we're just going to be back to square one.
Yeah, so, I actually didn't really think of that.
Yeah.
I guess, on the other hand, you usually want to avoid surgery if possible, but
no, for sure. But you had so much time to do it. Mm-hmm. He could have had, all right, so he got hurt in October. You figure out November or December. Okay, let's get the surgery done. Let's just clean it up. Because at that point, you kind of could tell that everything was going downhill. All right, there's no way we can recover from this. Well, there was a way you could recover from this, but it just wasn't likely. Mm-hmm. You just give him that seat. All right. Because you kind of did the same thing with Coots anyway. Just all right, get your surgery done, clean everything up, just be ready for next year. That was totally within the realm of okay, yeah, this is doable. This can actually help our season. And you guys just blew it. So,
right. Yeah, very interesting. I guess all there is to do is hope and pray that he's 100%. And
yeah, for sure,
he's a good hockey player for us next year. So the playoffs started last night. You want to touch into our brackets? We'll pop yours there on the screen for those watching on YouTube.
Yes. So I got a Florida-Colorado final. I mean, everything I've picked so far, I think is on track. Definitely I know the only one I was, you never know with the sweeps, but with how Colorado is manhandling the Predators currently, I really don't feel as bad about that pick. So, but yeah, you know what? I'm pretty confident in my picks. I just need Florida to go on a 4-game win streak, which is it's not entirely impossible, but we'll see.
We'll pop up mine here. I'm taking St. Louis over Colorado, but in the first round, Colorado over Nashville. I like the Blues over the Wild. Calgary over Dallas. I think they absolutely destroyed Dallas in that series.
Yeah.
I like the Kings in 7 over there.
Yeah, me too.
Rangers over Pitt. They're in double OT right now.
They are
3-3.
If it's still on when you and I are done, I'm going to watch it.
We have Carolina and Boston. That was one I could have went back and forth on.
It wasn't much. I mean, I know you're a lot higher on Boston than I am, but I had no discrepancy on that. I know Carolina's coming away with that.
Right. The one above that in the East, Toronto and Tampa. I took Tampa for the sole purpose that I didn't want to bet on Toronto and I did not want to bet against Tampa. But deep down, my heart tells me Toronto is going to win that series. I decided to go with my head and pick Tampa. And then I picked Florida in 4. Washington won tonight, so the best we could do is Florida in 5. But
yeah, I got Florida in 5. But yeah, you know what? I mean, for the most part, I did really like your bracket. I disagree with you heavily on that Blues and Wild series.
Okay.
I think that's a pretty even matchup. and I think they're both going to kick the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
And I like Colorado is just going to walk Nashville. Like it's not even going to be close. Like they're not even. I guarantee you, like they're not even exhausted right now. They're winning 5-0.
Yeah.
I think
I said 5, Colorado and 5 over Nashville, just because Nashville's a hard place to play, and maybe they win one on the road.
Yeah, no,
I mean, one at home in Nashville.
Yeah, but I feel like St. Louis and the Wild are just like I feel like they're a very even team. They're going to be heavily contested. Whatever team comes out the winner in that is going to be exhausted, and they're going to have to play the juggernaut that's Colorado. I think they're going to put up a fight.
Do you have that going 7?
Yes. I'd say probably. Oh wait, which series? The
Wild
Blues.
and Blues. Yeah, you picked.
Yeah,
Wild
I have that going
7.
7. Yeah, I got Wild in 7.
Okay. I got Blues in 7. I think just
yeah,
with 8 20-goal scorers, and they're pretty similar in like the rough and tough. Like you said, they're going to beat the piss out of each other.
Exactly, and but I feel like no one's going to have anything left in the tank for Colorado, and that's going to be the deal breaker.
Okay.
So other than that, I mean, you're right. I mean, I disagree with. I don't know. I think I got the Flames go into the finals. I'm gonna try to pull it up right here, so I have to keep. Yeah, I got the Flames going to the finals.
Western Conference Finals versus Colorado.
Yeah, and I think Colorado pulls ahead because I think they're gonna have an easy path. I think the Panthers still have the easiest path to the playoffs, or to the finals. I think they got So I think they're gonna rebound pretty heavy because I watched the game tonight against Washington. They were controlling play for most of the game, regardless. I mean, even on the penalty kill, they were taking it back and having some pretty quality chances. So I think they're gonna have a pretty, and then same kind of thing. I think Tampa's going to come away with it against Toronto, but I think the winner of that series is going to be exhausted, and then Florida's just going to walk them. And then, you got two teams that are like offensive juggernauts that are going to be pretty well rested for a Stanley Cup final, and I think that's just going to.
So my worry with Colorado is 1, they don't have enough sandpaper, and 2, they have it so easy against Nashville.
Yes. No, I totally get that.
That's why I have Colorado beating Nashville, but I have St. Louis overtaking them. Mm-hmm. I like the Blues a lot. I think just they have the top end talent. They have the depth with all the 20-goal scorers, and they have the sandpaper and physicality. It's also why I have Calgary going as far as I do. I think that's a complete team. They got high-end skill. They got the physical guys. They got the goaltending.
Yeah, no, like I said, I don't necessarily disagree with you 100% on it. Like I said, I just think a little bit. I think Colorado, yes, is going to have an easy way in, but I don't think they're going to necessarily overlook them.
Right.
Other than that, I think you and I are pretty similar. Like we both have
our East is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Not counting the games, but
yeah. And then I got LA. I got LA going in, winning the first round. I just don't like, other than Draisaitl and McDavid and Nurse, I just don't like Edmonton's team.
Right.
They always choke. I don't have confidence in Mike Smith. And I really like LA's team. I do.
I'm the same way. I'm actually surprised how many people have taken Edmonton. That kind of surprised me.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't say like a surprise because it's McDavid's team. You know what I mean? Like it's still the best player in the world taking that step,
Yeah.
So like I said, I get that to an extent, but like I feel like everyone taking it is just people that don't really know hockey that much.
Right.
So I agree with you on Calgary. I think is that it? Oh, this is my bracket.
This is yours.
Okay, yeah. So I got them in 6. We disagree on. I mean, dude, you and I pretty much have an almost identical bracket. We just got
it's just up in the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, and then we have different people going to the finals and winning.
Yep.
And like, you know what? I will say my winner is more. I guess I don't want to say more hopeful because I definitely think they have a really good shot. But Giroux being on the team, I think definitely impacts my decision.
Right.
I'm
No
not going to
bias
say it
needed.
doesn't. No, none at all.
How many games does Spencer Knight play? Does he play any?
I doubt it. Unless
Wow.
Bob gets hurt, which not going because Bob played a pretty good game tonight.
Bob played awesome tonight.
He he made some really big stops for Florida.
He's my one worry with that team, and we've talked about that, but
yeah,
that's my one worry with them.
My worry with him is he's not. I mean, honestly, the only person that really comes to mind that has any kind of playoff experience is Joe Thornton, and he's ancient. So that lack of playoff experience is my worry for the Panthers. But I do think they just have so much offensive talent that I don't think it's going to be a huge factor. But I definitely think it will play a factor.
Well, they've been in it the last 2 years.
I don't think so. I mean, I know they made it last season, but I don't think they made it past the first round. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I don't think they definitely didn't make it far.
Right.
Yeah, they lost in the first because they played Tampa. There was a great series.
Yeah, that was
lost in the
year.
first round.
I'm wondering 2 years ago if they made it at all.
I don't think so. I think they just got edged out.
Okay. Well, we shall see. What do you have going on the rest of the week?
Going to see Doctor Strange. I'm so angry. Okay, if anybody, all right, I know a lot. Well, if anybody's listening to this podcast and is a Marvel fan and you spoil anything, you can go to hell. Because I had the movie spoiled for me today, and I'm so pissed off about it. I'm so angry. Do you watch Marvel?
Nah.
Okay, I had the movie spoiled for me today. I can tell you about it after because you probably won't really care. But I'm really heated about it, and I have been all day. And honestly, there is no reason other than you just want to watch the world burn to spoil any kind of movie like this.
Right.
So angry. So I'm actually seeing that twice. I'm seeing it opening night, and then I got friends that want to see it on the weekend, so I'm going to see it again. And then watching UFC on Saturday.
Sounds like fun. Who you got USC?
I like my guy Justin Gaethje, bro. I mean, I think so. I mean, I don't know how much you follow UFC, but he's fighting Charles Oliveira for the belt. Justin Gaethje is very much a stand-up fighter. If he gets on the ground, he's screwed. He's there's no shot. But if he stays on his feet, he's gonna knock out Charles Oliveira. No shot. It's just you got to play to your strengths, but he's not. I don't think he's great at staying on his feet because he did lose to Khabib, a year and a half ago. And Khabib, obviously being a very big wrestler, just got him on the ground and just literally made it just so quick. It wasn't even funny. Yeah. How about you?
I don't have a whole lot going on. Pittsburgh almost just won it. Igor made a crazy save.
Go Igor.
Yeah, nothing too crazy going on the rest of the week. Do some nasty knuckles filming and
there you go. Big nasty. Big nasty. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's all we have. Any final words?
Yeah, not really. Just go Panthers and stop spoiling Doctor Strange, please.
There we have it.
Yeah.
For those watching on YouTube, please hit us with a like and a subscribe. It helps us out a ton. And for those who are on Apple and Spotify, rate us 5 stars. That also helps us out. And we'll see you next week. Peace.